Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be discussing about light stress. Like we are going to be discussing about the stress series. Stress is anything that disturb the plant's natural phenomena is called stress. Disrupts plant natural phenomena. Alright, this is a very easy definition of stress. Now stress has a lot of types, like it could be temperature stress, it could be light stress, it could be water stress, and etc. Alright, so in the upcoming lectures, we will discuss about all the types of stress, but in today's video, we are going to be discussing about light stress. Okay, so light stress is a detrimental effect, like a very disastrous, destructive, very bad effect of insufficient means less or excess means high light on plant function and development. Like light is going to be disturb plants function and development either in excess amount or when it is in insufficient content. Like light is in three types. It could be in excess, in normal, or in less amount. Alright, so this is the normal light which is required for normal plant functioning and development. But when the light is in excess, it could be dangerous to plant, and as well it is in less amount, it is also very dangerous. So these are the two subtopics of what the light stress is about. So in today's video, we are going to be discussing about the excess phenomena of light stress on plant, which is also called radiation. Like light is all about different kinds of rays. So when it is in excess form, it emits lots of radiation that ultimately disturb the natural phenomena of plants. And when it is in less amount, it could be shade. Like plant, this is the plant. When it is in shade, like light is not going to reach its upper surfaces, so that is why it is in less amount. Or maybe the shade has some kind of hole, so only a few amount of rays can pass through and reach the surface of plant cells, and that is in less amount type of content. So in today's video, I am going to be discussing about the radiation or excess light, what are their effects, what are their causes, their effects, and lots of other things. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay G, so let's talk about radiation. Radiation, do you guys know what is the main source of radiation? Obviously sun, like solar radiation. Because of this solar radiation, life is sustainable on Earth. Do you guys even think without sun the life is possible? Never. It is never possible without this Earth, because this sun, sorry. Because when there is no sun, there is no photosynthesis on plants. When there is no photosynthesis on plants, there is no food. When there is no food, animals or humans can't live. So plants can't live, animals can't live, the earth is not a living thing. Okay ji? Earth is not sustainable. Life is only sustainable on earth just because of sun. Sun is very important. It is a primary factor, okay? Plants are also very important, food is very important, animals are very important, but the primary source is obviously sun, and the solar radiations that come on the plant surfaces, and the photosynthesis process start, and everything, just goes normal, and that's why life is sustainable on earth. So that's why because of solar radiations, life is sustainable. So solar radiations consist of different kinds of wavelengths plus electromagnetic rays. Sun has lots of solar radiations, and these solar radiations are of various types. Like, first and very common is UV, also photosynthetically active rays, which causes photosynthesis, and also far-red light. This UV rays is round about less than 400 nanometer. This photosynthetically active rays is approximate 400 to 700 nanometer, and this far-red light is approximate 700 to 780 something. All right. So this UV is 400 nanometer, photosynthetically active rays is around about 400 to 700 nanometer, and this far-red light is 700 to 780 nanometer. Okay, ji? So these are the normal variations in which we can categorize these radiations. Among all these radiations like UV, photosynthetically active rays, and also far-red light, UV is most dangerous. Alright, so UV, the stratosphere layer, UV light gets absorbed in it, and this is because ozone layer present in stratosphere that absorb this UV ray, and that either reflected back, but it cannot pass through this line and does not reach on earth. But due to some human activities, ozone is kind of some holes and is disappearing at some places. So UV reaches earth, and on earth there are some kind of plants as well as animals. So UV directly damage flora and fauna. Flora is plant life, fauna is animal life. Alright, so it damages both the lives on earth. Let's talk about the causes. Main cause is sun. Sun emits gamma rays. Sun also emits X-rays, UV rays, infrared rays, and also radio waves. Radio waves also produce on earth, but sun is the primary factor that produces radio waves. Okay, so sun produces these kind of rays, these kind of waves, and they affect plant life. It causes mutations, it also causes damages to the plants, but this is the UV ray that it causes very severe effects, more than mutations and damaging. Alright, so it is super severe, and it is super common that disturb the plant's natural phenomena. So in today's video, our main concern is of UV rays. I've already told you how the UV rays is so damaging to plants and why. Because the ozone layer is disappearing, and that's why the UV rays that comes from the sun directly reaches to the earth and disturb the natural flora and fauna of earth. Let's talk about the effects as a result of this UV radiations. The first one is morphological. Second one is physiological. And And the third one is molecular. So you can memorize these three terms by just one word. Morphological is actually physical or apparent, like that is visible, we can see with naked eye. Physiological is actually like photosynthetic और ये इस तरह की जो चीजें होती हैं like photosynthesis, stomata, etc etc. And molecular is at gene level. Okay guys, let's talk about the morphological effects. The first morphological effect is stunted growth plus poor leaf area. Like the plant growth is stunted, plant can't grow properly, and also the leaf area reduces. Like if the leaf area then this, and upon the UV radiation attack it could be this. ठीक है जी, this is the first morphological effect. The second morphological effect is glazing. Glazing plus burning of leaves. Burning of leaves, obviously when harsh UV radiations or harsh warm sun rays fall on the leaves, they get burned. Also glazing is something like, when a leaf continuously absorb UV radiations, that is super disastrous. Then this stage comes when leaves become shiny and it starts reflecting back the UV rays to protect itself from warmth. Okay, so this is primarily an adaptation of plant. Like when UV rays fall on the plant leaves, the plant leaves gets shinier and they reflect the UV rays back to the environment and can't absorb it. This is a primarily adaptation to get rid of this stress. The third morphological change is increment in leaf thickness. This is also an adaptation. Like if the leaf layer is super thin, rays will come and affect the other parts present in the leaf. But if the leaf layer gets a lot thicker, then the rays can't pass inside and can't affect the parts present in the leaf. Okay, so increment in the leaf thickness can also be an adaptation and a morphological change in excess light stress. The fourth morphological adaptation is increased lignin content. So this could be an MCQ, like only bryophytes does not have lignin content, otherwise all plants have lignin content, and in stress condition this lignin content increases. And what this lignin does, this lignin decrease the absorption of UV radiation, reduces the absorption of UV radiation, and that's why increment in lignin content will prevent the leaf and other parts of the plant from absorbing the UV radiations. The fifth disastrous morphological change is biomass reduction. Do you know about the biomass? Biomass is actually the total food content in the cell, the total mass in the cell. Like in humans, it is muscles, bones, etc. They make up the biomass of humans, but in plants, it is actually the food content and other part. And biomass reduction is because of the light stress, and obviously it will lead to poor yield. And that is economically not favorable. The sixth important point is leaf bleaching. Now what is leaf bleaching? Bleaching is actually the loss of color, and leaf bleaching is like loss of pigments. Leaf is actually green in color, and also other pigments like chlorophyll, xanthophyll are also present in the leaf. And upon high light radiation, these pigments got removed, got disappeared, and this leads to the leaf bleaching. So it is actually the loss of pigments. The last morphological change is a reduced or delayed reproductive growth. You know, poor yield and poor reproduction means plant is almost lead itself to death. Okay, so poor reproduction hoti hai, and likewise there is no yield, and that are the morphological effects you might learn about, and you can memorize it super easily. I've already told you in detail. Now let's talk about the physiological changes. Okay, so the first physiological effect is bleaching of phycobilin protein. Now, what is phycobilin protein? Phycobilin protein harvest solar rays, absorb solar rays and use it. Okay, so when there is very high radiations, what this phycobilin protein does, it absorb all the rays, and that is a damaging effect. So what the plant does, it removes phycobilin proteins, and this led to the reflection of this solar rays and not absorption. When it comes, it goes back because of no phycobilin protein, no solar rays harvest. Okay, so this could be an adaptation of plant and also a physiological change. Like, so jo phycobilin protein hai, it harvests solar rays, and in high excess light this is not necessary, so plant start its bleaching and its removal. It gets removed, and this is an adaptation. The second point is damaged photosynthetic apparatus. What does it mean? Like, photosynthetic apparatus is like thylakoid, and also the pigments that are necessary in this photosystem. So when there is huge level of light fall on this, it gets burned or it gets damaged. That leads to the damage in photosynthetic apparatus, and ultimately it has direct connection with point 3, which is photosynthetic inhibition. Like, obviously, damaged photosynthetic apparatus, there is no phycobilin protein that absorb the light. There is no light on thylakoid membrane, and even not thylakoid membrane in healthy form. So obviously it leads to low photosynthesis or even no photosynthesis. That results in stunted plant growth, obviously no reproduction. Okay ji, all these things are correlated. All you need to understand is to learn all the cycle and all the things, so that you can learn it well, like make connections, and that's how you can learn this and get 100 marks. The fourth point is also correlated, like photosystem 2 is also deactivated. Photosystem 2 is activated with the help of pigments, and when there are some kind of pigments lost, there is no photosystem 2 activation. And the last point is ROS generation. ROS is actually a reactive oxygen species that leads to the senescence and over ripening, and that produce oxidative damage. In normal or normal quantity, it produces a normal amount as well in plants, but when there is stress, its concentration increases, and there is no antioxidant defense, so ROS concentration is rises, and that also that also causes detrimental effect on plants. Moving on to the last term is molecular damage, which includes chromosomal aberration. Like, change in the number of chromosome is chromosomal aberration. The second point is altered DNA sequence. Like, you guys already know that even a mite alteration in DNA sequence lead to plant cell death. So this is a very, very dangerous effect. It could be addition of some kind of chromosome or sequence, or it could be deletion of any part in the sequence. Like, for example, A, T, T, G, C. This is a normal plant sequence, plant cell sequence, and when there is removal of G or either addition of another G, that leads to a mutation, and mutation could be lethal as well. And also the next point is damage and dilation of nuclear membrane. Like when there is बहुत ज्यादा गर्मी आए सूरज की तरफ से, then obviously the nuclear membrane could be damaged or it could be dilute. तो मेम्ब्रेन से होगा क्या कि जो मटेरियल्स हैं उनकी जो ऑस्मोसिस होगी वो बहुत इजीली इनवर्ड मूव कर जाएंगे, आउटवर्ड मूव कर जाएंगे. न्यूक्लियस को इतना पता भी नहीं होगा और ये एक स्ट्रेस कंडीशन है और इस तरह सेल के अंदर कोई भी चीज एंटर भी हो सकती है एंड ऑल्सो लीव्स अ पार्ट. सो दिस कुड बी अ डैमेजिंग सिचुएशन एज वेल. Last but not the least one is DNA damage, which directly leads to protein inhibition. When there is damage in DNA, there is no protein formation, and that is also a detrimental effect. So I've already discussed about the causes and also the effects of excess light in the upcoming lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the tolerance and avoidance mechanism of plant in this light stress. So that is it for today's video. Hope you guys liked it, and if you like it, please comment below. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.